Hi all. In this session, we'll try to understand what is AWS IAM and all, and why do we require it, and how do we use it, and how we can take some advantages of IAM and all. Fine. So this will be the agenda of the session, and we'll go and try to understand what is IAM and identity center is, or why we require identity center, and why do we use, and some key benefits and differences between IAM as well as identity center, and when should be used what. Okay, so now we'll move on to what is AWS IAM. So IAM, that is identity access management, is a service provided by the AWS to design to securely manage access to AWS resources. So whenever we log in as a root user, we can able to navigate to any of the services provided by the AWS, and we can do creation, deletion, modification, right? We can do everything whatever we want. But how about the other person, like being a root user? In most of the organization, they won't go with the root user, since it's if everyone working with the root user means we cannot able to identify who has worked on what and who has done what. For that, they go and create the users in their name, or the in their employee ID, as per the criteria of the organizations. Fine. So that the root user can able to easily manage who has created the service, and when he is created, and when they have deleted, and what transaction they are doing, everything can be able, that is can be managed by the AWS. Fine. So that is how the AWS IAM will help us to manage the AWS resources securely, and it will allow organization to define who can perform what action on which AWS resources. That is the system admin. Okay, so they going to um, manage each and every resources allocation to the users. For example, there is one team who is working on completely on the database, where no requirement of accessing the servers, or any serverless functions like Lambda, like things. Okay, in that case, we can only access them the database section or the database resource. If they are working on DynamoDB, we can give permission to only work on DynamoDB, or if they are working on RDS, we can provide permissions on RDS, like that. Okay, so we can completely control the resource access to the user or the employee. So IAM ensures that access to resource is controlled and auditable. So it's controlled, right? We can access and we can take back the access whenever we require. And auditable is we can just check who is created what and all. Okay. So we'll, and in the end of the session, we'll go and try to have the demo session. Fine. So next is some key features of IAM, that is identity access management. That is, in there we have two options. One, we can create the user, and we can also create the group, and we can update, or we can put a group of that is set of members into one group. Okay, so users represent individual entities like employee, developers, or admin who require access to AWS resources. So it's where users represent the individual entity. Okay, next, where groups are collections of users. So all together, so employees. It can include, an organization can have 10 employee or 20 employee respectively, right? Like that. Or the developers. No organization will have single developer, obviously, right? So if someone is working on some e-commerce website, definitely there will be at least 4 5 developers are required to have the permission like that. So the collections of users, that is the collections of developer that shares the common permissions, that is they required the GitHub permission. Okay, so when it comes to AWS, they required code commit. Fine. So that permission. So because they keep updating the code and they will be pushing into the repository, right? For that, they required code commit code permissions. Okay. In that case, instead of going to each users and giving permission to code commit, so we can include all them in one group, and we can just update the policy in the group permission, so that whatever the permission is updated in the group, those permission will be affected to the all the users who are under that group. Okay, like that. For example, developers group may have permission to deploy code but not modification of infrastructure. So they are allowed to just push the code to the repository, but they are not allowed to create the repository like that. Okay, so admins group full access to all resources. Like we can have, so each group having the team leader or the manager, so they required to have all the permissions. In that case, we can include them all, admins or the all managers in one group, and we can grant the full resource access like that. Fine. So now next is that is post access of admin. This separation allows for role based access control. That is, it's completely depend upon the role what we offer them. Okay. So next is defining the permission. We have already come across how we can, that is how the permissions are granted, but we'll try to see the JSON format if we want to create our custom things or the permissions. Fine. So complete things will be depicted at the end of the session. So please be stay tuned. Okay, so once you have understood the concept of theoretical knowledge, so it's quite easy to grab the things when we are performing hands-on. That's right. So defining the permission process. That is, permissions are defined using the IAM policies written in JSON format. Okay, so we do. It's not like we have to all the time create our own policy. There is nothing like that. So the AWS has offered some predefined policies, so which can be used. Okay, so if you want to create some custom policies, then on now you can go and create the custom policies. For that also they have the policy generator too. If you don't know how to create it, no matter. But only thing you should know what is happening there. For that purpose, just showing you this. So these policies specifies three attributes. Okay, one is action, one is resource, another one is conditions. Okay, so action. So what actions to be taken? Okay, so what operations are allowed? Okay, fine. So that is example S3 colon put object. So here they are only giving like a, when we consider this as an example. So here we will be providing only the put object. That is, we can able to update or yes, we can able to update the object, but we are not allowed to delete any objects like that. Okay, next is resource. Resource is nothing but where actions are allowed. So where should be the action to be allowed? So if you have any specific bucket, the where your action to be performed, we can just mention the ARN, or the ARN will be available post creation of the resource. We can just mention that, and the condition, if you have some condition, so only the traffic or the data coming from this network that can be allowed here. So here we have some snippet, so that is effect, it is we have stated allowed or denied like that. Okay, next is action. We show right? What operations are allowed. So here S3 list bucket. So here we are only listing the bucket. Apart from that, we are not doing anything like updating, modification, or deleting things. So for which bucket we have the access as of now, that is example bucket. The name of the bucket is example bucket. Okay. So this is how the permission will look like. Okay. So we'll go and see the examples in the end of the session. Fine. Next is role based authentication or role based access. Okay. So roles are the mechanism to grant temporary permissions to users, applications, or services without needing to share permanent credentials. So, for example, so S3 would like to, your server would like to have the access to S3 bucket. In that case, so even though they are in the AWS ecosystem, we need to grant the permission to speak within the AWS or from one service to another service. So we need to provide the permission to speak. So why they have made like that? So if you are using the server and if you have access to all other services available in the AWS ecosystem, means there won't be any much security. So some might have storing some data in RDS. Once you have the access into any of the services, you can gain access to all other services irrespectively, right? So for that purpose, for the objective of the security, so they have made to maintain role based access. Okay. So roles are the mechanisms to grant temporary permissions. So we can provide the temporary permissions to access the on service things. Okay. To the even the same can be implemented to users, that is applications or the services without needing the sharing of permanent credentials. For example, an EC2 instance can assume a role to access an S3 bucket. So without embedding credentials in it can access the things. So I will go and show you people this is also okay. So at another one thing, multi-factor authentication. So this is most common thing we have already come across from last 2 3 years. We are seeing everywhere, right? So when we try to logging into your WhatsApp, Gmail, even to your AWS account, now it's will prompt you for multi-factor authentication. So why? To authenticate the user or the proper user thing. Okay. So add an extra layer of security. So apart from the password, so this is the added security by requiring to second factor. That is first factor is your password, primary one. So once it got succeeded, it will prompt you for second authorization. That is by providing the multi-factor authentications. Okay. So it could be OTP based login, or it could be your fingerprint or the face recognition, or we can go with the device based authentication too. Next is audit and monitoring. So IAM integrates with AWS Cloud Trail. So here we are not going to keep any logs of the users. Okay. So the log will be maintained by completely taken care by the CloudWatch. But we want to keep track of each and individual users where they are going and what they are performing. For all those things, it's completely we can call it as a digital fingerprint. Okay. So those data can be accessed from the AWS Cloud Trail. Okay, to log who accessed what resources and when. So this is all about the IAM. So we came to know that we will be creating the user to restrict the resource usage. So subject to their role. Okay. So if there are n number of developers, instead of going granting the permissions individually, we put all them into one group and we grant permission to that group so that those permission will be applicable for all the users who are under that group, like the, for that group in the sense. So when it comes to defining the policies, this is the kind of thing. If you want to create the custom things, so obviously everything is ready to go in the mean having the policies right in the AWS. So if you don't know how to create the policies, they have the policy generator. You can take the help of that and you can create and modify according to your requirement once after getting the policies got generated from the automatic generator. And we come across role based access, how we can able to access the roles and all. and another one is multi-factor authentication for two-step verification things, and audit and monitoring thing. So next we'll go on to identity center. So in IAM only we have another things that is identity center. So we'll go and try to understand what exactly it is. So AWS IAM Identity Center simplifies the access management for organizations with multiple AWS account and applications. Assume that on an X organization having the four AWS account, and they have to maintain the cost optimization everything individually. So because of different four account. Okay. So in that case, we can create the IAM Identity Center. So how? So the organization like access the management for organizations with multiple accounts. So those accounts can be accessed under one account. Okay. So they can control whatever they want, and the complete all four account will be under one roof. Okay, like that. So it provides single sign-on thing, that is SSS functionality. So allowing users to log in once and access all assigned accounts as well as application. So so if they have provided with a single sign-on thing in an organization, for example, for it could be provided for the manager or the team leader like things. Okay. So by providing them these functionality SSO, so they can go and keep monitoring of each team, like if they want to get into the developer team, they can go and have the access to the developer team, and they can look into what they are doing and what have been done so far, everything can be monitored. So same wise, if they want to go and check with the database or the backend team, they can go. If they want to go and check with the UI team, they can go and check like that. So it will be like a one roof with multiple accounts. So they can go in and they can check and they can ask whatever the things. Okay. So how it is going to work? So that is a single sign-on. Users log once to IAM Identity Center portal. So they have their own identity center portal. Okay. So once they have login, they gain access to multiple AWS account. So under this portal, they can able to see multiple account like developer, backend, that is the database team, UI team, API team, or the testing, production. So like that, they can have a number of account. Okay, so service or the third party application. So without repeated login. So they don't require to log in for each and individual account. For developer, again, they need not to provide any credential. So once they have the single sign on, automatically they gain access to all the account. So for that purpose, I just mentioned, I took an example of manager level. So only they can have like these options. Okay. Next is identity provider. So it integrates with identity providers like built-in identity store. So uses AWS own directory. So they will be using the own AWS directory inside the identity center to store the details, things like. Okay. Next is they can also connect with the external also. So in AWS identity center, they can embed the other cloud infrastructure or other applications like GitHub, Microsoft Azure, anything like that. Okay, next is customizable dashboard. Once logged in, users see web-based dashboard listing all their accessible resources. So it will prompt you with all the resources, things like that. So each link redirects to AWS account, service, or the third-party application. So whatever we have embedded into Identity Center portal, so those can be accessed. Okay. So when should we go with identity center? So centralized access management. So who is required this, like a manager level? Like instead of managing individual users or the roles in multiple AWS account, you can manage all them centrally. A single administrator can assign user access to 10 AWS account in minutes, and enhanced security. So by using federated access, credentials are managed externally, not stored within the AWS. Okay, next is multi-factor authentication, and SAM's protocols ensures robust authentication too. Next is simplified user experience. So user no longer need to remember separate credential for each AWS account or the application. So once you are logged into your main that is central identity portal, so all the resources which are required for you, you may require for like GitHub, Docker, that is your AWS account. If you have launched a thing in AWS and you have integrated the GCP for the storage thing like that. So everything is under one roof. So you only need to get access to the identity center on single sign on. Okay. So in that case, you need not to remember your AWS account password, GitHub password, or Docker password. Next is GCP password, everything, username and password. Okay. So increased productivity. So reduce logging related overhead and confusion of users accessing multiple environments or the application. So thus it will reduce, right? Obviously. So you need not to go and open the portal and you need to provide the credential and you need to authorize it, everything. It would take at least 5 minutes of your time, right? So if something goes wrong, again you need to keep troubleshooting and you need to get access to that. So those can be avoided using the centralized access management. Okay. Next, here we have some key benefits of AWS IAM Identity Center. Okay. Next is that is scalability. So manage thousands of users as well as account effortlessly. So anyhow we have the identity center. So you need not to go and maintain all those things. So you can create as number as you want users. There won't be some as initially they have like creating IAM you have only the 255 or 250, sorry, 200. So if you want to create even more accounts, so you need to take or you need to raise the query to AWS about him, allowing saying that just allow us to create more users like that. Next is interoperability. So work with AWS resources as well as external software as application, that is SaaS based of AWS, sorry, MS 365 or Slack or Jira like things. Okay. Next is compliance, centralized login and policy enforcement for audit. So that we can, in case of while auditing is happening, so we can easily grab the things, right? In one roof, we can get all the bills and who has reused this many things like that. Okay, next is flexibility. Supports complex organizational structures with nested account and hierarchical permissions. So we can, it's completely flexible. You can give permission to that particular user like that. Okay. Next is key differences. So we'll try to understand the differences between identity access management and identity center. Okay. So the name itself says like IAM, that is identity manage, sorry, access management. So that manages the access for individual AWS accounts. Okay. So we going to manage all the permissions individually. But when it comes to identity center, centralized access for multiple AWS accounts as well as different multiple accounts or the applications. Okay. So it's a one platform where we can access multiple things. But when it comes to IAM, so it's restricted to AWS only. So we can control the restrictions of AWS resources to the users. But when it comes to identity center, so we have an option to control even the other applications apart from the AWS too. Okay, next is authentication. So here we will be having we'll be creating the username as well as password with direct credential. We can go and log into IAM. But when it comes to identity centers, enables federated access. Like once got sign in, we can able to access all the resources under that sign in portal. Okay. So next is integration. So I am in AWS Post, that is focused on handling the access only for AWS resources. I just mentioned here, right? So when it comes to identity center, extend access to third-party applications like Office 365, Slacks, or Salesforce or Jira. any third party applications you can integrate it. So these can be used in an organization, these can be used in simple or the startup things. Okay. Use cases. Like IAM are resource level control within single account. So we will be having single AWS account. Inside that account only, we can have multiple users. That I just mentioned, right? Initially, we will be having the 200. If you want to create more, you need to take permission from the AWS support team. Okay. So when it comes to identity center for organizations, managing multiple accounts or require integration with external identity provider too. So these are the major difference. So just choose according to your requirement. Fine. So when to use what? So when should we choose IAM for small setup within single AWS account? If you have one account and you want same account to be distributed across your team, then you can go with this one. Need granular control over resources at service level. So you can just control the permissions within the resources of your AWS. Okay, use casing involving programmatical access via IAM roles. Like we can have the programmatical access, or we can go with the console login both. Okay, for example, EC2 or Lambda things. So next is using IAM Identity Center. So large organization with multiple AWS account. So in one account they cannot perform all the thing, right? So they will be having the different accounts. So instead of providing the credentials of each account to the users, so by providing the single sign-in or the sign-on, so we can maintain the integrity by not exposing the credentials of each account. Okay, so teams needing simplified user management and access through single sign-on. Next is scenarios requiring external identity providers integrations as well as third party access. So if you are organizations required to have any other external applications to be included in your projects, this will be the more ideal one to go with. Okay, so now we'll go and try to see some demo things. Fine, just log on to your AWS console or the account. Okay, so just type here as IAM. Fine. So this is the dashboard of an IAM. Okay, so just from the dashboard, just navigate to the users. So still we have not created any groups. We'll go and have the users first. Fine. So initially we'll go and create the users, and here we have the options like provide user access to AWS management console. So it's an optional one, but you can have it if you want like things. Okay, so here just don't go for identity center, just go for create IAM user. Okay, next, this is the name of the user. Okay, so here we have the password like thing. So if you want to create the custom password and you need to assign to the users, you can go, or you can opt for auto generated password also. Okay, so post, if you want post login, the user are allowed to change the password. You can just user must create the new password at the next sending. Okay, you can provide this also. If not required, you can just uncheck the one. Okay, now we'll hit the next, and as of now we don't go and include any of the permissions. Okay, so in permissions, while explaining or while speaking about permissions, we'll go and look into that. Okay, now we are just creating an user, default user like things. Okay, so we don't have any permissions as of now. Okay, so just we created the users. Okay, we'll try to log in from different browser. So if I try to log in within the same browser, means it will going to sign out from the root one. So that's the reason I just took the different one. Okay. So here I need to provide the username. Okay. So this is my username and this is my console password. Just hit the sign. Fine. So just we have created the user, but we have not granted any permissions. Fine. So see here, access denied to service catalog list application. To list the application also, the access has been denied. Okay. So we'll try to access EC2. Okay. See here. So your like user so and so demo is not authorized to perform free tier like the permissions whatever they are we have in the root. I can show you with the demonstration too. So we'll go and try to create or launch the instance. See, you're not authorized to perform this operation. Okay, just provide demo and we'll go with the default one. So the warning prompts every each and every step you go. Okay, here you know we have selected. So you're not authorized to things. We'll just create the thing. Here also we provide demo and create. See here you are not authorized to perform, so we cannot able to do any of the single thing. Even we could not able to view the thing also. Okay, for that let me show you. Let us back here and it is 3. So this is my root account. Now I am in the root account. Okay, see here as of now I have one S3 bucket. Okay, so now we'll try to get whether we can able to see that bucket or not. So this is my user account where we don't have any permission. See here. So now I am in the same region, Stockholm. Here also Stockholm, but here in root account I can able to see the services or the resource what I have created in the S3 service. But in here also I am in the same one. I don't see any bucket here. Okay, general purpose bucket. You don't have any permission to list the bucket. Even to view the bucket or the resource what we have created, we are not authorized to do that. Okay. So if you want to view this thing, okay, initially we go and download the file. Okay. Now return to user list. Okay. So now we have created the demo one, right? So in permissions, so just got into your user as a root one or the admin. Just click on the add permission. Here we have two kinds. One is add permissions, one is create inline policy. So the add permission will get us the predefined policies or the permissions. Okay, so here if you want to integrate your user with any other group you can have it. Okay, or else you can copy the permission. So the whatever the permission you have assigned to previous user. The same permissions can be copied here. If you just select this one, so whatever the permission has been provided to ECR user, though, so see, I mean, the same permission will be copied to the demo users also. Or if you want to attach policies directly, so these are the policies which are provided by the AWS itself. So you can have it. Now, what we want S3, right? Just type S3 and hit enter. So we have these many policies, so you can grant as per your requirement. So DM Redshift S3 role, like this is completely different one. That is, if you want to access Redshift, want to access the role of S3 means you can grant this. So if you provide S3 full access means all the operations, creation, deletion, modification, updation, everything can be done. Okay. Or if you want to just restrict the access to only, here we have only read only access, so even we can go with this one also. So what permission we have here? So get the object, list the object, describe, that is we can fetch the object and we can list only the objects. We cannot do any other object like this, so we are just adding this permission to the user demo. Okay. So now we go back to our user account and we'll try to refresh it. See, so I'm in the user account now. I can able to view the bucket. Previously, even I could not able to view the bucket also. Now I can able to view the bucket. Fine. So okay. So if you want to create the new bucket, we'll go and try to create the new bucket. Whether we can able to perform it or not. Okay. So like the options will be same. So the bucket name should be unique throughout the AWS account. Okay. The demo 024.12. See here, failed to create bucket. So to create bucket, S3 create bucket permission is required. So we need to add this permission to the IAM role. Okay, in this. So below this, we need to add the permission S3 create bucket. Okay, if not, we cannot able to perform the create operations. So view your permission in IAM role and console. So if you want to view the permission, so what you have been assigned, so you can just go to IAM things. Okay, so even here also we cannot able to view whatever the things. So for that, for this also we have been restricted to access the thing. Okay, so only thing we have right now is listing the S3 bucket. Apart from that, we don't have any other access. So like this, we can control each and every users. Okay, we can control each and every users by restricting the AWS services. This is we are right now performing the IAM thing. Okay, that is identity access management. So we are controlling the access to the resources like this. Okay, so if you want to go with the custom one, okay, that is all. I will show you that one also. So just add permission, create inline policy. Okay, just hit there and select what you wanted to do. So now we'll go and check the EC2. Okay, so we have these many options. So if you want to list your EC2 instance, you can go, or if you want to read you can go, or if you want to write the EC2 instance like this. Okay, so we'll type the keyword like create. Okay, so now I have just taken the instance. I don't want list of here I want. Okay, so create instance event window. Okay. Okay. So here you need to just cross verify whatever the things you wanted to give permission. Okay. So here we have like accept result thing. So cancel spot, like create instance event window, like that. Okay. So if you want to run now, we are just allowing to create the instance, but we are not giving permission to run any instance. Okay, we'll go and try to think. So here you need to provide like for all. So whatever the things like create instance. Okay, we'll go and check whether we can able to create the instance or not. So previously we could not able to create an EC2 instance. Now we'll go and check whether we can able to create the instance or not. Okay, just launch the instance. So still I could not able to create the instance. Okay, so we'll try it whether we can able to create or not. So when prompted, store the private key. Okay. See, still we are not authorized to create. So create key pair on resource. Even we need to provide each and individual thing. So okay. So still this doesn't work. Okay, we'll go and remove this and we'll try to add permissions. Okay. Okay, now we'll go and check with the S3 only. So still for that we need to add each and individual permissions. So it will be quite long. Okay, go to right and here we have a create bucket things. Okay, if you didn't get just type the keyword like create access kind, create bucket meta table, create. Okay, so here we have the create bucket option. Okay, so you can specify the particular thing. So specify the bucket resource ARN for create bucket, or else you can just go and specify the all the resources. So like this, you can provide or you can control the user by providing the each and individual access. So see here, you just provided the create in launch instance window I have provided. Okay, so for that purpose I can able to go there and I can I wasn't able to see any logs there. So while I just launched it on the launch create button. Okay, so previously we could not able to create the bucket, right? Now we'll try to create the bucket. So let the things will be. Demo is not authorized to perform. Okay. Put encryption file. So now the things got created, but I could not able to upload anything. So let me show you people that. So for uploading of data, even I required to have another permission. So we'll try to upload the credential what we have done. Okay. So see here, upload failed. So even we are not able to upload the data also. Okay, so now we have created the bucket, but I don't want this bucket anymore. So am I authorized to delete this bucket? We'll go and check. So deleting bucket cannot be underlined. This is a warning regarding the bucket. Okay, see here, you don't have permission to delete the bucket. So now I have only permission to create the bucket. That's all. I don't have permission to put any files or the objects inside my bucket, or I don't have permission to delete the bucket. Okay. So but I can delete it here. So just refresh the thing, select this one, go here. So delete. Things got deleted successfully, right? Now we'll go back here and we'll refresh the thing. See here. So the resource whatever I have created, it got deleted. So this is how I can able to manage the user as a admin. Okay. So now we have fully people have understood the concept of user and having that is adding the permission in three different ways. Okay. So one is you can add permissions from previous user, or you can directly attach the permission policies which are already been defined by the AWS, or you can create your own custom policies also. Okay, this is how you can just or if you have the JSON format, I just show you in the thing like this. If you have the format like this, you can just create the JSON one. You can just provide the things like here. Okay, you can just. Okay, I don't know why it is getting hang too much. See here, effect is allow or deny. So we can now deny. So the deny in the sense only two value can be provided to the attribute effect. So either you are allowed to do the operation or you are not allowed to do the operation like this. Okay, this is how this is all about the user thing. Okay, next is your people have understood the user, and by adding the policies, you people have understood by looking into the demonstration, and you can integrate the policy too. I mean, sorry, group thing. We'll go and create the group here. Okay, so we'll take these two. Okay, and the group name will be demo. And here now we'll give the permission to EC2. Now I will give grant full access to the EC2. Okay, so now I just got into my group demo. Under that we have the users, so you can add the user or you can select it and you can remove the user. So if you want to grant permission to the users which are under the demo group, just go inside the permission. So as of now we have the full access to the EC2, okay, as a group. So we'll go here and we'll go back. Now we are in, we are using the demo user, right? We have not used the ECR. We haven't used it yet. Okay. Now we launch the instance. Demo. So now I don't see any warning here. Okay. So I can able to create the thing. So now we'll drop down and we'll select the key pair which is already exist. Okay. So we don't want to create any existing one. We'll go with the default. See here, I can able to create the instance now from the demo user. Okay, so the same can be deleted too. Terminate. So we can also terminate the instance. Now we have the full access to do any operations. Okay, we'll see. So initiated termination. Okay, so this is how you can manage the things in the group also. Now, okay, we'll go and create. So for ECR, I don't haven't created the console login. Okay, so I need to enable here auto generate. Okay, yes. So let it be. We'll just log out of this. So I don't think so whether we can log into two users simultaneously. So ECR and take the thing. Just go here. I don't think so. Yes. Only one account I can able to manage. Okay. So we have just terminated on instance, right? So that can be viewed here. So the whatever the you can make out the difference here. So now I'm using the ECR user, and this is my root account followed by the alias name, right? Okay. So how you can create the alias name? Okay, just go to dashboard. So instead of the account ID, you can just provide the alias name. Okay. So this will be the common console sign in URL for the for this account. Okay, and you need to just manipulate the username as well as the password. Fine. So this is all about the IAM roles, how we can create the user, how we can add the so we can able to we just come across how we can able to create the users and providing the permissions and granting the custom permissions too, and we just put them under one group and we try to access the same resources, everything, right? So now we need to just delete the resources what we have created here. Okay, so delete the group. Okay, now we have just deleted the group. Okay, but not the users. Okay, fine. So now we'll go and delete these two users. So fine. So now we can just for audit purpose we can monitor the things, right? So even I will go and show you people how it is. So from console you just use the global search bar to navigate cloud trail. Okay, so here I have not created anything, so we'll go to event history. Fine. So see here, the name of the user is demo and ECR. So he has performed the termination of instance. Okay. So see here, we can get the full fingerprint. So what he has done, where he has navigated, which instance he has deleted, what is the configuration of it, where he has created, everything. So event name termination, event source, that is. Okay, next is yes, today is 19th, right? Okay, yes. So I just created using the demo create bucket. Put the encryption from the root. I have deleted the bucket. I have performed the delete operation in the user demo, but it was failed to authenticate. So all the things who has done what, everything can be tracked from the cloud trail, and you can also set up the things also. You can just create the trial and we can maintain the individuality, that all that can be also done here. So yet another one we are left is identity center. So I cannot able to perform, I think so, because I don't have any external or the applications things to show you people. Just I will try to show you the things. So from console just try to navigate to IAM identity center. So this will be the home page if you do not have anything. Okay, so here we have the structure like enable identity center, like connect your directory or create users or the group using the across any AWS things. Okay, so if you are trying to enable it, so it will ask you like two things. So go with the organization one or within the AWS. So if you are going only the AWS means it will create the IAM one. So if you are going with this one, it will go and create the identity center. Okay, so just click on the continue. See here. So here we can create the users. We will go and create the users from this management or the access things. So we can able to get the things. I mean, the dashboard will be prompted so that we can create it. So fine. So this is all about the IAM as well as identity center. So we can just able to whatever the things we go and create here. So all the users will be prompted in the single one. Okay. So this is all about IAM as well as IAM identity service. So here we have the access portal right now. We'll go and try to access it. I don't think so. The same credential will be used. See here. So the multi-factor can be provided from different things, and we can monitor the access, all the things. Fine. So this is all about IAM and Identity Center. So thank you for being a part of this session. And if you have any queries, you just try to drop the message so that we can work on that and we can get back to you with a clear picture.